Hello and welcome back, everybody. I am once again Lance, joined by Manoclass and F6 over here on my left and my right. What a really good game we just got. I'm really excited for the games that we are going to have that are going to determine our higher seeds. But before that, somebody needs to be eliminated from the tournament. And that is the game that we are about to show you between Zero Grid and Double Vision. So really quick, just to go back through this, we had both of these teams play earlier in it. They both got second in their group. They lost the match to the other person who got second place in their group. And now the winner of this is fighting for our last and final seed in our main event, the right to face Rogue in the first round as well. What do you think about the match that we're going to have coming up here, F6?
I think it's going to be an absolute banger. They're fighting for a spot into this competition coming up in a couple weeks, so I feel like they're going to give it their all. And I think we're going to see like everything they have and they've been using in their scrims to pull it out at this match right here.
Perfect. And Manoclass, I know you got a lot of esports familiarity. What does usually getting into these spots where it's a do or die do to players? Does it usually bring them up? Does it break them down? Is it about the pressure? What do you think about this elimination situation for these guys?
I think there's like the multi-level to it, right? So you have the individual level of like internally, how do you feel about it? And then it's also the way, how do you feel about it with your team? Like, how does your team react to it as a unit? And there's usually two ways to go about it. Either you play your game the way you're supposed to, the way you've been practicing, or teams go wild. They pick they pick some weird heroes, they go weird directions, they try and play like a weird opener of some kind, like they'll all go invade a jungle. There's like different ways you can play that essentially. We don't see any weird bans coming out just yet, so at least that is stable. But yeah, we can get some wackiness, and I'm hoping we get some wackiness because it usually leads to some really cool situations. But it can also happen that one team just sees the wackiness, shuts it down, and then you get the complete stomp rolling. So let's hope we don't get that, and we just get a really cool series.
And the Zero Grid is going to pick up a Rampage for the first pick of the draft, getting that giant frontliner, the king of the jungle, over there on to their roster.
Yeah, so you also see the Sev ban there, which has been typical all day. But finally, Beluga ban. Maybe just trying to, from seeing all the different games, they're like, hey, we kind of want her out of the game. She's been a high impact, even if she's in mid or she's in the support role. So getting out of there is pretty good as well. And picking up that Rampage, like you said, the king of the jungle is unreal.
And the Muriel and the Crunch for Double Vision. I mean, when you got the Rampage on one side, you get those two. Crunch, not the best overall during the day, but Double Vision does like to pick it up, as we saw in their previous series. So hopefully Hosey gets a little bit of a better time about it this time around.
Picking the Muriel up as well, which is something we've seen in darn near every game we've broadcasted today. Something that was a little under the radar for me personally. I didn't see a whole lot of Muriel being played in solo queue. Didn't see it that much in scrims, although I did a little bit. Maybe this new patch is just really picking her up into a spot where she's back into competitive viability, but a little surprised to see her taking first rotation out of Double Vision here.
Yeah, and then seeing that Decker get picked up by Zero Grid and Double Vision picking up Muriel over Decker, I kind of don't see it, but we definitely have to just kind of see how they play with it in the game. Maybe they have some knowledge that we don't know about, but also the getting as well. So looking like Zero Grid has got a pretty solid comp going so far in those three first picks.
I'm really liking this. Double Vision, they're just going all out with like we went over the patch, Lance. Like we talked about all of these things, right? Like, oh, there's so much changing. What's good? What's changing? What isn't good? And there are a lot of characters that I see on this grid right now that I'm like, I don't think we really rated those fairly high.
Right.
Especially we're talking about Murdoch and Chimera now coming out here. It's like probably the worst, if one of the worst, if not the worst ADC in terms of, raw stats and the way the abilities work. And then Chimera coming out, well, we always talk about, well, yeah, he has a silence, but if that's really all you bring him for, then you should probably get someone else on the field. That's going to be interesting. But, Zero Grid just hitting it right back with the interesting stuff. So I'm all for this game. I'm just down.
Right, and then here comes the Shinbi out over for the side of Zero Grid as well. The first time we're going to see her in any of our games today. Took a little bit of a hit to her ultimate damage, but otherwise completely unchanged. Still a pretty strong pick into the Crunch. They're able to sit back a little further. Also, you're able to match the double dash that Crunch has with your own disco dash and your right mouse button. So that's great for Shinbi. A good little matchup for them there. try to keep that crunch down because he really thrives in that early to middle game portion of it. And then we're going to have my girl Gadget coming out for the last pick for Double Vision, going to be going into the mid lane there for him. So interesting to see how that is going to do. I am not a huge fan of where Gadget is currently sitting in the current meta. If anybody can make it look good, though, it is Eden on it. So we'll see what they try to decide to do for a build and what sort of differences we could see from like the last patch on that Gadget to the next one. But definitely two interesting team comps, I would say.
Yeah, very interesting. First time seeing a Shinbi coming out in this first round of play here. But definitely that Drongo's a good solid pick to kind of counteract that crunch whenever crunch is coming to try and engage in those team fights. So definitely a lot of counter picks to each other. Definitely good balance on both sides I can see. So definitely have to play it out.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the Gadget as well, just like you are. But the same thing kind of goes for Shinbi, like all these ability haste items being dropped, or at least ability haste being deleted from the game, gives both of those characters kind of a big nerf, to be honest, just on the plain item side of things. So yeah, Gadget and Shinbi, they're gonna look different in this game than we're sort of used to seeing from them in the past. But the same thing kind of goes for Chimera as well. Murdoch with the stim nerf. Like, if we look at the overall patch changes, it just looks like Zero Grid has the better lineup right now. But in the end, if Double Vision is super comfortable on these heroes, it might just come down to execution.
Yeah, and that's a lot of these high level players. And when these team fights are going to come down to high execution levels, but that Gadget's going to be a real big problem. She's still top tier. She's a very good mid laner, especially for those counter engages whenever that Rampage is jumping on in or that Shinbi is going in to engage there. So having that Gadget's going to help them a lot. And then seeing that Chimera do a little bit of work with the new balances as well might be surprising for us.
Yeah, I'm all down for it. I just want to get into this game and see how they play it in practice, because it does seem like we have a little bit of a showdown of the meta going on right now. Both these teams have a very different idea of what they want to pull out, but again, I'm for it, and this definitely feels like a make or break game draft.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big one.
Right, and that's perfect. That sets the tone for what it is, because as we have said before, the loser of this we will not see on the 17th, and the winner we will have that opportunity to knock off our like highest seeded remaining team from our last event and Team Rogue as well. So big props to the hurdle that is in front of either of these teams, but I know neither one of them are backing down from a challenge like that. We are going to kick it into the game, though. Manoclass and F6 are going to take it from here. Enjoy the game, everyone.
Let's get to it.
Woo! Thank you so much, Lance. Like we said, the make or break game for both of these teams. The scene is set, and they're instantly going for the early invade, or the early combat here in the jungle. What else would we expect? Both these teams definitely don't want to go down without a fight, and they're actually going down in glory. I don't think either of these teams losing, it doesn't really matter. They're both showing off some really fun predecessor, regardless of how they perform in the end. And just the team comps themselves already show at F6.
Yeah, and then they're trying to go for that 5-point, trying to get a ward on that blue side, it looks like, but they got caught and they were able to stop it. Bad News Bear's going to back here, get reset, hopefully in time for his red buff. Looks like he start. Then Hasi's over here with Shinbi. That should be a fun lane to watch out for. So definitely a lot to look forward to, and can't wait to see how these teams play together.
Yeah, that should be crunch matchup specifically, right? Because you talked about it a little bit in the draft, saying like, yeah, should be pretty good against it. You can follow up with a double dash. You don't have to really worry that much about like losing track of the crunch, or the vice versa, not being able to back away from the crunch. But that health pool early game is pretty daunting. So Risbro got to be a little bit careful, I'd say.
Yeah, she does have that double dash, but Crunch also has the high mobility as well with his dash and his passive. And if Crunch is able to build Void Helm early, he's going to be able to pretty much negate all the damage that Shinbi's going to do. So depending on the build path is how that matchup is going to go over there.
Look at a little bit of EXP gain, obviously early game. See who gets the level 2s first, who gets the lead. Currently, it is looking like a little bit of that advantage at the crunch early game, but I think Shinbi will be fine later on. We do get the early level 2 here for Fusion and for Sepik. They do try to jump forward with the gates, don't quite get the catch, but there is a little bit of pressure there coming out for Zero Grid.
Yeah, them able to get in ranking gamers, Blink there really quick is going to allow for Zero Grid to have their jungler present over in that lane to be able to try and pick up an early kill, because that blink is down for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, gotta be able to push that advantage, and teams usually do. Like usually they will send their jungler over in that situation, but they look to be a little far away at this stage. Never mind. Another push there for Fusion. Really wants to get that pressure elimination off, but now they've pushed him back so far that Rampage is nowhere to jump on.
Yeah, I like the aggression coming out of Decker there. Able to put that pressure, put that cage around Silver to kind of get her a little up, have her being a little bit in a panic state, because that gold buff is coming up. And we do see the jungle on their side. Big stun coming from Decker with the ball, but unable to follow up with the Drongo there. And it looks like they're going to back up and head over to the gold.
Yeah, Septa gonna pick that one up. That's gonna be a nice little buff in their feather caps. Oh no, Septic. You want to push. That's the beauty, though. They don't really have to back off yet. They still had some health resources left, and now it's gonna be Fusion potentially in trouble. Goes very low, gets saved by the Rampage, but it will eventually be indeed the Murdoch going down. Silver just underneath their tower. Time to probably back. That's gold buff plus elimination for Zero Grid. Nicely played.
Yeah, Onyx was just lurking over there, invading on that blue side like Rampage does, and was able to go ahead and saw that pressure that Murdoch was pushing up and able to punish him for that option right there without his blink.
Onyx still not done, setting up another elimination of the Silver potentially, or will the shielding be enough? Yeah, barely gets away with it. That's the power of Muriel. It's when you think you have them, there's a little bit of shield in the way.
Yeah, the Septic there not picking up the gold buff when he had a chance. A little bit rough, but he definitely had a chance to get Silver there. Rampage doing a great job applying pressure on that side to help his team out. He almost got another kill in the first 5 minutes over there.
Yeah, they're going to pick it up now because Bellica's returned, but... Or sorry, Decker's returned. Chimera drops in, though. Now, Bad News Bears just going to try and pick up that gold buff on their own. They don't even need the rest of their team. But at least it won't get stolen by Zero Grid.
Right, yeah, Bad News Bear does have the smite for it as well, so he can secure it. He was like, hey, you guys need to get off my duo lane, getting a little bit of pressure back towards their side on Zero Grid. So good job on Chimera there. He's going to be backing and reset. Looks like Eden's taking a little bit of poke damage over there in the mid lane. Mournfall doing his thing, playing aggro as Gideon does.
It is how that kind of goes against Gideon. Unless you get those counter drones on him, he's just going to slowly poke you down with Meteor here and there, doing a rock fall. It's nothing too fancy, but it's just hitting some shots. Eden, though, clearing the lane, going for the river buff. Nothing in the way, no junglers approaching. As I say that, Onyx pokes right around the corner, but it's a speed get out, Eden. No problem whatsoever. I mean, look at it across the board, right? We do have the support sitting at 3, but everyone is just progressing nicely in the XP.
Yeah, CS is pretty much even. Only one kill on the side of Zero Grid there. So it's looking pretty even right about now. It's going to come down to the first Fang Tooth is already up, so they might make an objective play if they can keep pushing that duo lane lead. Ooh. Big rock coming from the sky over by Mournfall. Yeah, putting a lot of pressure on her there. She's able to back up, get a little bit of her drone out there just to kind of poke back. Nothing too much going to come out of that one.
No, it's a little extra damage, a little extra pressure. Like Eden now sitting at half health in terms of 3/4 or full is definitely a big mindset change. Still going to be able to clear the wave, but you do see them like playing so far back that Mournfall cannot possibly hit them with their rock. And now that they've hit level 6, going to be very careful of that black hole play because Mournfall will do it. They'll just jump on you. No questions asked.
Yeah, big gaping black hole is looking like it's going to come over to the duo side of things. Ranting Gamer is looking low. Tower, they do not have the minions to really dive. Mournfall is kind of in a bad position here. Unable to really do anything. So he's going to have to reset. Good play by Silver and Ranting Gamer there to not allow that. Unfortunate that the wave wasn't crashing at the same time with that gank. But Bad News Bears is on his camp. Fusion just kind of peeking, trying to keep an eye on him. Kind of just being annoying, doing Decker stuff over there. Keep that pressure on them.
Decker doing Decker things. Wouldn't expect anything less from Fusion, for sure. And the supports are just kind of running around the map a little bit and through the jungle, waiting for an opening to come because they just want to have their ADCs farm as much as possible, obviously. Hossie now, though, now we're going to get to see that solo lane play that we're talking about in the beginning of the game. Going to go back to it, and Hossie does seem to have kept the pressure up.
Yeah, level 6 crunch is a very scary crunch to be around. That's when he hits one of his biggest power spikes in the game to be able to set himself apart in that off lane. So Shinbi, Mr. Rizbro over there is going to have to be a little bit careful because he's going to have that upper hand, especially with that passive to engage. Silver taking a lot of poke for no reason. Bad News Bears coming from behind with the flank, going ahead with Q. Got the blink from the Grongo. He blinks back in to go back in. Unfortunately, he's not level 6. Onyx with a big rock coming in to kind of disengage that fight. Nothing really comes out of it. 2 blinks down, able to get out. Nothing really go on there.
Yeah, Rent and Gamer and Silver are going to be happy about that, though. They have a little bit of space to clear their wave. They might be able to get the gold buff as well. I think that's up. It is up, indeed. So should be potentially able to get some advantage out of that. Even if the kill doesn't come through, they still sort of get a lane win, or at least a comeback if they were behind a little bit, which they usually have been. We still have a level 6 from the Drongo, not on the Murdoch just yet. So that's a good situation.
That is always a good situation to be level up, especially when you're talking about ults in that early game.
That's how he got away from the Chimera there. Without that ult, he would not have survived, I think.
Right. Yeah, he definitely had a little bit more escape tools on Drongo than any other ADCs in the game.
And but they can put the pressure right back. Like they really needed that gold buff in order to try and have a competitive lane here. And now again, they're just being pushed back under their tower. The tower is going to take a couple of hits here.
Yeah, not having any CC on the opposing side of this dual lane is kind of giving the upper advantage to Zero Grid, because at least they have the ability to stun, put a big cage around, or slow, while Mirrorless only really has their slow, right? So they have the advantage right now. Rainting is looking pretty healthy, but Silver is not, so they're kind of down there. She's just kind of playing backline, using her shields to kind of help out, just trying to stay and get some XP to hit level 6 before she backs.
The tower below half health now, so that's going to fall in a couple more pushes. Do you see the gadget moving over there from the mid lane? They're going to have to be careful about that, but they put a ward down early, so they saw Eden coming, and there's Onyx too. Eden might be in a bit of trouble here if there's an actual move being made, but I don't think they don't really want to go against that. They're going to make sure that Eden doesn't join in the fight.
Yeah, Eden was just there, just trying to help with the buff, maybe looking to see if there was something there since Zero Grid was pushed up on that duo side. Level 6 on Silver now, so it's a little bit more dangerous in this dual side lane because Silver can ult at any time and be anywhere on the map. So they got to look out even over in the off lane. Onyx is over back on the blue side of Zero Grid, looking to try and possibly get something here while they're kind of just sitting there getting XP.
What are you going to do here? Because this stalemate's been going, but it's a stalemate that's constantly in favor of double vision. Did I say that correctly? No, sorry, in Zero Grid's favor. That's my bad. Yeah, I was like, huh, that's the wrong players. Anyways,
yeah,
they're constantly. So you look at the CS mostly, right? So you take like, how's it going? And you do see that Septic is just 9 CS ahead at this stage. That gap slowly increases. Silver now almost goes down. Nice escape. Though they do actually fall to the irradiate damage that comes afterwards. Beautifully played from Septic and Fusion. They got that shot off. So now they have the kill. They can easily get a gold buff if it's up, but they might even be able to go for a Fangtooth here because they've got that man advantage. They don't have to worry about the Muriel, even though she can ult in and the respawn time is very short. At least it'll get enough tower pressure. They might be able to get it to fall.
Yeah, that was a great play from the Drongo, and that's what makes Drongo so dangerous in that duo lane, his ability just to bleed and take away with pretty much all of his abilities and combo you in just a slight way. With that one Decker stun, he was able to do that much damage and kind of keep pushing that pressure in that lane. And as you can see, the Shinbi is getting kind of pushed out in her as well, so we could probably look for a crunch rotation a little bit more often since he has that upper hand in the off lane.
But this is what do you expect of that matchup, though? Like even if both the players play it completely correctly, Shinbi might not die, but she's not going to be able to put like a lot of pressure on the crunch. There's indeed the engagement with both the dash out instantly as well, as we would expect from Riz Bros. Like, I'm not going to take any hits. What are you talking about? I'm just going to dash out. And
Right.
Mordfall, though, putting a lot of pressure on the Eden, as we've seen throughout the entire game. Look at that health bar just dropping.
Constantly just putting that pressure in. Bad News Bears, he's able to just rift out of there and unable to do much with Bad News Bears, but he's probably going to be caught out. Big rock
Onyx
on
is coming.
coming out. Can he hit the rock? He misses. Oh no, Gadget ult, Tesla Dome, able to put a damage on the get in. He falls down to it. Big Rampage coming in, putting a lot of pressure on top of Bad News Bears. He's able to get out. Unfortunate, but they were able to get a kill on Bad News Bears on Zero Grid.
Such a good bait and switch. Just instantly pulling them into the river and saying, you know what, you want to chase this down? Well, then we're going to actually be able to kill you. They get the Murdoch as well on the other side. That is just a trade back and forth your mid for your carry, but both teams just finding every opportunity to slowly poke away at each other, and all of a sudden they pounce, but it's a very slow game in terms of eliminations.
We see there that he took down a T1 tower with about 12 minutes in the game and able to pick up a kill on that side of the map. The duo has just been offensive since the
It's
early
all
game,
Zero Grid, yeah.
and they've just been doing their thing. Chimera is not going to be able to get in there. 3 full healthy Zero Grid players.
Looking for the
able to
steal,
secure
maybe?
this first fang.
He's looking for the steal. He's going in. Bad News Bears, he's doing it. Did he actually get the Fangtooth?
And he did.
He managed to get it. That's exactly what you want to see from your Chimera. Does he get out alive? No, the black hole comes in. I think that's going to be enough to get the Chimera at least. Again, they get a little bit more, though, because Ranting Gamers, their Edens, their Silvers there, they're all taking a lot of damage, but the mana bars are low on the side of Zero Grid. They need to be able to get some more abilities off. Otherwise, Ranting Gamers going to get out alive, but that's not happening with the basic attacks of Septic coming in as Drongo. Revolver is always alive to get some more kills, but I do think Eden's looking for a little bit of a sneaky drone in there. Maybe they can get elimination. They got the Rampage, so it's not a complete throw. And of course, they got the objective. They might be down on eliminations, but at least they stole the Fangtooth, and that's a pretty good boon. That's worth it.
Yes, you are 100% correct over there, Manoclass. Because they are able to steal that, they're able to get themselves back in it a lot more than a lot of people think. That's a permanent buff, and they're only down 2 kills. That was a good trade for them, and that was a big win to get them back a little bit more closer to that. So good job on Bad News Bears there, just to be able to put his team on his back a little bit more time by time.
Almost got out. That was like the ridiculous part. They almost got out. It got away with it too, but it just didn't happen that time around. That being said, going back over to the Zero Grid duo lane, they managed to clear out their wave, push it all the way back in because that tier 2 tower is already taking damage on that side. Tier 1s at all lanes are kind of doing okay though. I mean, especially for second Zero Grid. Like they're looking pretty healthy across the board. It's just that off lane a little bit, but even there, the Crunch Tower is taking more damage.
Yeah, and I think the Crunch's tower is only taking damage just because of his rotations to those river buffs, which is still getting him the lead. And it's not too bad for him because he's getting XP. He's able to put pressure on the map. Eden is getting hit. Flash got out. Is he able to get the kill? It is not enough. So,
it is.
Oh
it
my
takes
God!
over.
The Rampage snipe with the big rock coming out of the fog wall. Good job.
Beautiful.
On Zero Grid to get in there.
I mean, that was ridiculous that they gotten away with that as well for Eden. So, like, you almost feel like they deserved that elimination, but now Mournfall might be in trouble. Has to use the blink out, goes back in, or gets pulled back in. Now the black hole comes through, but of course, that's not going to get any value. They're just going to go down instantly. But there's the Rampage on full HP, trying to bring down a Crunch. Septic coming in on the Drongo. There's the Muriel shield. Will they be able to get any more eliminations on either side? Crunch will fall in the end. But Onyx is ridiculously low. Can the Muriel just basic attack him down? You almost would think they would. They're going to risk it, though. They prioritize protecting their team, as they should, like good support does. Ranting Gamer looks for a chase down, but that Stim Pack is not going to be doing enough anymore these days.
Yeah, that was a good team fight. They were able to get the Gideon there, which was good for Vision. Then there was Ranting Gamer. He tried to get the snipe off, but was just missed by a hair on the long arm of the law. And they're able to get a little bit of pressure back around on the map and get themselves a little bit closer. They're still down 1 more kill extra than before. So we got to see how they do this. They did get mini primes, so they are up on objectives, but they need to get back a little bit on these kills and on these towers to get a little bit closer in the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a slower space in the game at the moment, just waiting for like the next objectives to come through, unless someone really makes a misplay or a really good rotation. Both these teams are going to be poking and prodding for a little bit longer. You know, got to look for that opportunity. If it doesn't present itself, it doesn't present itself. But as we enter the mid game, which we surely are in, we got to look at these item builds rounding out, right? So you have a couple of these players getting very like closer and closer to their full build. So the alchemical rod obviously not being finished anymore on the side of Eden, doesn't have to be, because the Azure core doesn't. Well, the alchemical rod kind of gives you most of the boost you get already, and the ability haste is gone, so you don't really need to finish it early. And then the Mega Cosm obviously looking pretty good on that gadget as it always does.
Yeah, just being able to have alchemical rod just to get that mana early game, and then when you need that power spike on your second, third item, you kind of finish it out just to get that secondary passive on it as well. So no need to rush it just quite yet, but as long as he has it there, just stacking it up, he's able to go. Big stun from over by Decker on Fusion, not able to really capitalize it. Oh, another rock. They're just throwing everything at Hasi, but he still has his tier 2 tower just to keep safe, and they're kind of just playing this little poke game, trying to see if they can push in onto this tier 2 in mid lane.
Yeah, with the ability haze being gone, you can't really be that frivolous with your abilities anymore. Now Hasi goes back in onto Fusion. Doesn't quite get anything out of it, but Fusion does go very low. Hasi back enough again. They might have overextended a little bit. That's a lot hard-hitting Drongo. They do get the Elim, indeed. Now they're going to have to try and run away as Bad News Bears jumps in. Got another follow-up here. Oh, they're just baiting them. They're baiting them with the low health targets, and then they finish them off. That's a Chimera to the ground, Bad News Bears. Bad news for you indeed. And it's Zero Grid just pushing the envelope every time.
Yeah, that bait and switch from Vision, from Zero Grid, apologies, was just too perfect. They kept baiting those low health targets, trying to get them to push out and trying to have them rush them, and they were able to capitalize in it. And now they're able to push over to get their first Fang Tooth of the match.
Another Fangtooth down, another team claiming a little bit of an objective. While the early game looked very good for Double Vision, they're starting to drop more and more value as this game keeps going on. And the beauty of it is they haven't really needed their Shinbi for it. Shinbi just farming away in the off lane, just chilling, gaining gold, gaining XP, and meanwhile Hasi is rotating, but they're dying across the map. So that early game advantage that you had is kind of gone. Rizbro taking the lead in an off lane now.
Yeah, Rizbro does have a level lead on top of the crunch. Just utilizing that free farm she's able to get while her team is still holding it down 4v5 in most of these fights. So looking at it from an overall perspective, she's winning this thing in the entire bunch, and you do not want a late game Shinbi to come out and do a lot of damage. They're going on this Decker here, caught out of position, able to jump on her. A little bit of a weird little buzz right there, but they're able to pick up the kill on that singular Decker, just running out of position, trying to possibly get wards around the objective on Prime.
Prime is indeed the first objective to be up again. Still going to be... No, it's going to be a full Prime by the time it respawns. Because not going to be a window for them to get mini Prime, I'm pretty sure. Be like 3 seconds. And they don't have that much damage just yet. Let's be real. But yeah, with Zero Grid, I mean, they are losing players every now and then. Like, again, it's not a full stomp. It's still a fairly close game. But it does feel like that early game pressure needed to be there for Double Vision. And the fact they're not in the lead right now does worry me a lot.
Yeah, so we have all the T1 towers down except for one on a Zero Grid side, which gives them a little bit more advantage on the map side of things to open up their map more other than the on to Double Vision. They're inside their jungle a lot and not really getting answered back by Double Vision on it, and they're kind of just running free. So I'm looking for them to place a little bit more wards, get in a little of these more team fights, get that gadget engaged. We've got Onyx coming in from a big flank to go onto this gadget. He's unable to do so. They're going Kai. Big ult coming in from Muriel to pop them up in the middle. They're going at it. Oh no, but Muriel is going to fall. Looks like Kai is going to be next. The Crunch is there punching and runching. Crunch is still alive. 4v1 right now. Tesla Dome comes out to try and peel a little bit for the Crunch there. They were able to get a 2-for-1 on that team fight, but looks like Zero Grid is a little bit more unhealthy than Double Vision. So they did come out on top for Zero Grid, but they're going to have to retreat and reset. Great job on Zero Grid there to kind of put the pressure and catch them out of position on that fight.
Yeah, rough 20-minute fight. Not around the Prime, but definitely with the objective of making sure that Prime doesn't get attacked just yet by either team. Training your ADC for 2 on the other side, usually worth it, especially if you're ahead of the other ADC anyways. But yeah, Zero Grid, again, sort of establishing a slight lead in terms of that team fight. Will be able to keep fighting throughout this game and keep being ahead at the moment. But again, you know, it's all about keeping that pace, keeping that lead if they can. Rizbro just gonna farm in the lane again, just get a couple of minions, maybe back to get some more mana, and then they're just gonna go try and rotate to a fight again because they are actually able to fight now. Should be level 13, around 22 minutes. That's the time where you start mingling.
Yeah, Shimi's at a point right now where she's going to be doing a lot of single target damage and being able to still be a little bit tanky with her E, getting a little bit of that shield on top of her. So we could definitely look for a attempt on Orb Prime coming soon. As you can see, that Drongo playing in the mid lane and not over onto his side of the map, looking to be able to be at any objective at any time to burn it down. But I do want to see that Shinbi in the fight more. So hopefully she does leave the side lane a little bit and get into these fights to help out and kind of put them into a little bit of a bigger lead.
Septic now pressing the issue on the mid lane together with their supports. See Silver and Eden on the other side, but there's the rest showing up. This is a full team presence from Zero Grid almost with of Double Vision, with the crunch still on the off lane, but they are starting to move in. They want to secure this space. They want to secure the map presence, so that at least the prime objective is not going to be pushed. But Fangtooth is almost also back up. It's going to be the third one, so not quite the primal just yet. But it's getting closer and closer.
It is getting closer to that time for another group big team fight to try to get an objective. We see that Double Vision has these wards all over the place. Decker just going ahead doing her little poking dance, throwing stunts, trying to get a little bit of damage off to poke him down a little bit by little, but nothing really come out of it since the team is not there to follow up.
We were both being picked up on either side, and now they're gonna push I'm gonna press the issue even further. Fusion just walking up the mid lane. There's Bad News Bears from the side as well. They do want to engage onto this, so you see just waiting. So Bad News Bears is like, guys, I'm on the high ground here. We want to engage on this. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are we going? But they weren't going just yet. Now they are indeed engaging. Bad News Bears is the first to get engaged on. Cleanses himself instantly. See Eden coming out with another couple drones to keep the space alive. And entirety of Double Vision just retreating down the mid lane. Don't want to take that fight just yet. They might want to rubber band. Let a couple of abilities run out and just poke away at that enemy team. Brisbro just looking to be part of a fight for once, but still not being able to because they're just refusing to take it. As Bad News Bears jumps in on the side, the Gideon does Rift Bulk out, get Fusion a little bit lower, and Mournfall is definitely taking some damage here. Does go in with the Black Hole regardless, does a little bit of damage. Eden also going super low. They go down 2. No more mid laners on the field as Bad News Bears jumps in and jumps back out. This is a true back and forth where both teams are refusing to fully commit, but still sort of committing. Fusion just on the sides with the gates will not get out of that one. They stuck around for a little bit too long, and now the chase is definitely on. Silver of all leading the charge. It's a 2-for-2 exchange, but this is exactly where it's going to end. No one's going to go any further on this, and the Fangtooth pit is being assailed by Double Vision.
Yeah, that was a huge uppercut coming from Hasi with that crunch punch, and he just knocked him out with that clean right hook. They're able to get them a lot lower health than they are, so Zero Grid was going to fall to that one, and Double Vision looks like they're going to be able to pick up their second Fangtooth to put them a little bit more ahead with these objectives. They might not be there with the kills, but they're slowly trying to whittle away, get these objectives, and keep themselves in the game, and they're doing a great job by getting the fights they need when they need it.
And because we're at 25 minutes, you also know that the other team isn't going instantly for Orb Prime because they're just not going to have the stamina, the sustain to do that with 3 heroes. And now that everyone's back up, that's where you're going to be warding. You're going to be checking that no one's going to steal that Prime away, checking that nobody's going to just, be a sneaky sneak and do that for you. But they are posturing a little bit around the pit at the moment. They want to make sure that no one gets it. And they want to make sure that they get it, if anything. But right. We're gonna go back to laning for for a short period at least.
It looks like everybody's just gonna go back to pushing lanes, trying to set these lanes up so they have the advantage to get inside this prime pit. Both teams are gonna be looking for picks. There's no way that they want to do a full-on commitment to Orb Prime at this moment, especially with the lack of high damage at this point in the game. They still need maybe another item, maybe another half item to finish their builds out, round their builds out, to really kind of burn these objectives. So we're gonna be looking for another pick on each lane, kind of just trying to set these lanes up, get themselves in a better advantage than the opposing team for these objectives to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, and with the Crunch and the Chimera being where they are still very strong parts of the team fight in terms of sustain, escape, but also engage, CC. Like, there's a lot that comes out of Hossie and Bad News Bears. But you do see that Ranting Gamer is a little bit behind. Eden isn't hitting everything they need to or can in a fight like that. Still lacking a little bit, but they are starting to round out those builds and they're starting to get some more XP on it. So those abilities and just in general their damage is going to be a lot harder to avoid. That was a pretty interesting engage there. Oh, there we are. Yep. We're back on it. They did get Mournfall on that Gideon. We're in the wall. We know what's going on with the health bars at least. You're gonna see the Drongo go ridiculously low. They might get the ADC as a result too. Yet it's a double kill on the zero grid. This is where Double Vision needs to be. They need to keep getting these kills. They need to take their advantage of the power level of their heroes, which they're definitely hitting right now, chasing down the Rampage. I don't think they can get this elimination, but maybe they can when Renting Gamer there. Buckshot pushes back the little guy. The little version of Rampage is not using the ultimate. They already have spent that, and they can't get the elimination onto Renting Gamer. It's a 4-0 exchange here, and what looked like a 13 to 8 scoreline, it's now 13 to 12. And Double Vision can go straight into the Orb Prime Pit, because that is a free one if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, right there, you saw the Muriel coming in with the clutch ult, and Muriel doing what Muriel does best, shielding, buffing your teammates against those fights. And Bad News Bears is definitely going to be one of those, and Crunch as well, to be utilizing that shield and that passive with the attack speed and power to get that advantage in those fights. And they're able to get 4 members of Zero Grid, put them back in this game, get Orb Prime, and they're going to reset, and they're going to get a big push in to get themselves right back on top.
They really got to get a tier 2 tower out of this to keep the speed up. They really want to get that. And if you don't get the tower, at least get a kill or 2, because that prime duration is long enough for something. Whether it's, you know, either a map objective, so like a tower, or a couple of kills. Again, they need to be able to find something. Otherwise, you know.
They definitely need to get something out of here. They need to at least get down all these tier 2s. They need to do at least like a 1-3-1 push, kind of just get a pressure on all 3 lanes to get themselves set up for an inhibitor push or get set up for a Primordial Fang.
Yeah, they caught themselves up in terms of like everything as well in that one fight. That was all they needed to get that one good engage off in order to start snowballing and potentially like a mid-game finish. I think the later this game goes, the more trouble they might be. But it also depends, and again, on how Zero Grid's going to play this out. See a lot of engage here between Shinbi and the Crunch. There's someone else in there that is going to be a lot of damage, and indeed the Crunch will fall. A lot of damage on the Eden as well, though, from the Murdoch long arm of the law. Will they get a little bit more out of that? No, the engage won't continue any further, as we do see Renting Gamer and Eden in a skirmish with Mournfall on the other side of the map, but that's a lonely Gideon. Someone's going to help him out. Otherwise, he's not going to get out because Bad News Bears is looking for it. Can he make it in time? I don't think the Chimera, he is going to be fast enough. Use the blink just to get there quicker. And there's no cooldown yet, or at least no usable cooldown because the stun up was great. They trade the Crunch for the Gideon in a, that's a good trade, honestly.
Yeah, Morphle there was a little bit too aggressive on the other side of the map. Just by them falling just one by one like that, the Crunch was out of position, which is unfortunate, but allowed Eden and Renting Gamer to kind of push the opposite side of the lane there to kind of get the pressure back on the map. But they're going to be backing here because Double Vision is applying that, Zero Grid is applying that pressure back onto the middle lane at the inhib to get a tier 2 as well.
A little bit more pressure out. They are they're not constantly trading at the moment, these two teams, which is fine. You know, don't have to always get the lead and everything. But they are going to have to get some, again, keep trading objectives. There's a Fangtooth that's up again. It's a Primordial one as well, so that could definitely be an objective for either team to go for. And that is, it looks like both teams are rotating, at least just like semi towards it. Double Vision is in the pit. They are just trying to take it straight up. And in fact, is Zero Grid going to A, realize, and B, going to actually challenge it if they do? There's a big gadget hold going on in the pit. There's the jump in potentially from the Rampage. Are they going to try and steal? They're definitely going to try. Are they going to get it, though? That's the question, because this health bar should be very low. No, it is Double Vision that gets it. That's the Primordial Fangtooth. And now Zero Grid's going to run away very fast, or they're going to go down with a blink of an eye. That's 3 already. Nothing to even worry about for Double Vision. Only the Drongo and the Shinbi. No, just a Shinbi that might be able to get away. Full health bar, a lot of mana left, a lot of blinks and double dashes coming into it. But Hossie, just as mobile. They're going to try and get Rizbro still. Long arm of the law slows them down again, hits them as well. Another wolf pack tries to circle around Rizbro for extra protection, but they're just spirits. They don't actually block Hossie for anything, and Hossie might be able to get this elimination still. Drives under the tier 2. It's a little more damage, just a little bit more. Rizbro will indeed fall, and that's a full team wipe after the Primal Fangtooth. They're pushing the issue. The inhibitors are under attack. F6, how can you come back to this if you're Zero Grid?
I honestly do not know. Zero Grid just lost pretty much everything after that last team fight. Hasi, my man, he was just crunching, punching, rumbling, bumbling down that Shinbi. She tried to get away, but she was not faster than the man himself. They're able to get a mid inhibitor. They're pushing the left side. They are doing everything that they needed to do to get themselves back in this game. Now they're back on top, stealing the red side of the Zero Grid's jungle. This is looking great for Bad New Bears and the boys.
It's looking very good for them. Only 2 inhibitors off, blocking the minions from the core, and the mid lane is definitely under fire already. Got a little bit of a small tick there on that main objective of the core. Zero Grit, though, I mean, again, they're not that far behind. It's just they need a little bit more time, a little bit more to actually be punching harder. And so far, it's not coming together for them. They don't set the rules of engagement. It's Double Vision constantly deciding the tempo, deciding the space of where it's being fought. And if that keeps going, then Zero Grid are not going to have any fun anymore of this game. Ranting Gamer tries to get some more XP, tries to get some more gold to get that build finished. They're not that far off from the Drungos. It should be fine. This is where we have to see the power of the Murdoch continue for Double Vision, because there are some definitely bashing damage coming out from that guy.
Yes, he's definitely putting out a lot of numbers on that screen. Zero Grid right now, I think the real big factor is Rizbro is always a little bit behind on these rotations, on these objectives. So he needs to be with his team. He needs to start to get together. It's past that laning phase, it's past that farming stage. You need to group up. You need to get in these team fights to make it that little bit easier to change the fights and focus these damage dealers in the back line as Shinbi.
Yeah, it's definitely no more time to be a lonely Shinbi player anymore. I mean, they do need to... I feel like Rizbro's got to find a way to avoid the wards and sort of sneak behind where Double Vision is and come out from the back. Do that solo target damage while the rest of the team fight is going. Play like a little bit of an assassin, but they just don't have the map space anymore for it. You see it right here. Gonna jump straight onto the Drongo. Can't get out. And Double Vision with another man lead with no inhibitor on mid is going to just try and find Onyx here as well. Maybe even Fusion if they know Fusion is there. They definitely know Fusion is there now. Eden taking a lot of damage, though, has to be careful. But Hossie is the tank in the way. Fusion's got to put their legs on and start running because the Frost is on the ground.
Yeah, she was able to kind of get put on her Jordans there and jump up and get out of there as quick as possible. But Shinbi's looking like she's going to be able to get out. Oh, just with a sliver of health, but nobody could stop this man as Crunch. Hossie just going out there, running at everybody with the big W key. I think that's the only thing he has on his keyboard right now. Just going at them, punching at them, and he's doing a great job at it.
Silver and Renting Gamer. It's so annoying to read that name. Like, I know it's Renting Gamer, but if you put down Raymak Gnidnar, then, you know, I'm almost tempted to actually call you that the entire time instead of Renting Gamer. That being said, their gameplay is not worth ranting about because they're doing great. Onyx, also on the Rampage, has been a little bit quiet for the most of the game. They're not really in the way a lot. Every single time you see them show up, they're either getting blown up or running away from the fight. So I want to see a little bit more frontline pressure from Onyx, and with they're just a little bit behind to do so. Like, it's not, he's not the Chimera, he's not the Crunch on the other side. They have that double threats that kind of tanks in. And all they have is the Rampage on Zero Grid. He's not being able to put that pressure down with that health bar he has.
Yeah, and that's coming from as well as them not having the damage to really focus that back line. I feel like they're fighting front to back, but nobody's able to really get to the back line on Double Vision to stop that damage on top of the Rampage after his ult. But it looks like they're trying to get another engage here, trying to get another prime for them on Double Vision's side. But I think they're looking for a pick before they fully commit towards this prime.
I think they're trying to bait it. Yeah, it's like either you come and fight us or we take prime. That's kind of like the way they're posturing at the moment. And while the move-in is coming slowly from Zero Grid, they have to be a little bit quicker about it. This prime is dropping hard. The Tesla Dome is down again inside of the pit. And while the abilities are coming through, we see the Decker like line come. We see the gates fall down. Onyx is using the Rampage ult, but they're not committing. They're just backing off again. All they did was really stall the prime from coming out, but they got the prime, actually. Never mind. Prime fell. Yeah, they have to run away really fast now, or they're just going to go down because Hossie is smelling blood and is using his fist to come and get it.
Yeah, they definitely have the advantage on the team fight, but Bad News Bears has to be careful here. He does not want to get stunned, and he does get hit in the face with a big old rock, but he's able to get out of here. His team's peeling for him. Ranking Gamer in the front lines. Down goes Chimney for a
big black
second.
hole.
Big black hole
That's
comes
a really good
out,
one. It
and
almost
he's
gets Bad
not
News Bear, but he
able to.
doesn't. No, that was a lot of low health bars, but again, the Muriel save comes out at F6. It's been such a pivotal play in this entire game. Every single time the shield's there to save them, and they're there once again. Onyx trying to run away, jump away together with Septic and Septic. They're doing all they can on the Drungo, but it's not going to be enough. Onyx is just going to get pushed down, and with a 2v5, the core is being assaulted. This game looks to be over. Double Vision does it. They punch their ticket into the main event, and Zero Grid are the ones getting sent home.
What a game from start to finish. These guys been battling it out. I'm going to give this one to Hasi. Hasi was there punching everybody left and right, getting his team the advantage, either peeling or initiating on these fights. So I definitely give it to that man to get in there. Bad News Bears as well, with a big steal on the Fang in a very early game to get himself and the team in that early position on objectives. So a lot of good game playing from them, even though they start off a little bit rough, but they were able to get it.
I think that's what we're talking about, right? We're always we've been talking about a little bit of this tank meta showing up, and we see Bad News Bears and Hossie just perfectly play that double tank sort of style, where Bad News Bears sometimes takes all the brunt of the CC, cleanses himself once, takes more CC, and then Hossie just swaps in to be the tank that then actually does the rest of the fight. And then you'd have Eden and Renton Gamer just behind it shooting away, and Silver getting the shields up for anyone that really gets low. And on the other side, they really didn't have that. Like, Onyx was there as a tank, but wasn't really being able to get the XP most of the time, was a solo frontliner, so all the CC that comes out just continually keeps going onto Onyx. And then Rizbro is not able to fulfill that same swap role that we had on Double Vision. But we can talk all about it. We won F6. We got a third person here that also has opinions. So I'd like to get Lance back in.
Oh, and you know, I've always got an opinion for you, Manoclass. And my first opinion, which is, I guess, more of a emotion, is a condolences to Zero Grid. Unfortunately, that will be the last we see of them for the month of June. But a big congratulations to Double Vision winning that game, becoming our 8th seed and qualifying for our event on June 17th.
Yeah, that was a game on the Double Vision side. And like I said, the first couple minutes was looking a little rough, but they got together. They came together as one. I don't know who was shot calling, but they were in it. They did it. Hasi, I give it to you because you were rumbling and bumbling out there, bub.
I was gonna say it's probably Hossie shot calling. It's like just pocket me, just pocket me. I'm just gonna keep going. Just I'm keep punching.
He was just holding that W key, and it worked out in that game.
Yep.
He definitely was, and what a great game that just was. We do just have 2 more games for you. We're gonna take a quick little break before we jump in to that next one. However, we do want to just remind you to push that follow button, push that subscribe button, check out our YouTube, check out our Twitter, join the Discord, do the entire thing. I believe that is all we have from Manoclass today, so I want to give you an opportunity to plug your socials, since I didn't give TJ DJ that opportunity earlier. Manoclass, you want to take the stage for a second?
I mean, I kind of want to have TJ DJ's socials now, so I can also shout him out. But no, mine are just Manoclass casts on Twitter and Manoclass on Twitch. I don't stream right now, but I'm picking it back up. Just getting some new assets made, you know? More assets to make the stream look good. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone, for watching me, but keep watching the rest of the guys, because they're doing amazing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to take a really short break, and we will be right back with Dirty Lake and the Boys versus Orca Pod.